So, let's turn this down a bit. And yeah, all right. Looks like we're good to start. So, hello, everyone. It is June 29th. So, the final couple days of June. And gosh, it's been busy. It's been a very, very busy June. Lots and lots of different projects. Both publishing projects, video publications, book publications, a couple of music publications coming around. And yeah, conference season is sort of blowing up here, right? So we've got the Adobe for Education conference coming up at the end of July. And I've got not a conference, but a creativity workshop going on later today. You can watch that on Adobe's YouTube channel, Adobe for Education's YouTube, or Facebook. And that's going to be at 11 my time, so 10 o'clock Pacific. We're going to do some work with Adobe Animate and sound design, so that'll be fun. All right. But today, I figured I was going to do some more particle generation kind of stuff. However, because I am doing this thing at 11 my time, 10 Pacific, I am instead going to do some Fresco, because Fresco is sort of a relaxing thing. It's not something I have to really prepare for. So yeah, let's do some Fresco. So one thing I've been trying to do on iPad. One thing I've been trying to do is to improve my posture when I sit. So, you know, I've been writing this book for months now, right? And, you know, my back just started to really be sore and all the time, you know? And it's like, well, you know, maybe it's just age, right? But maybe not. Maybe it's, you know, bad posture when I'm writing. And I found that I'm, like, lots of times just, like, kind of, like, hunched over and typing and everything. So I think that's been very bad for me. And I'm glad the book is done now. There's a few things I still need to kind of tidy up. I have to finish the instructor guide for it and everything, because it is a classroom and a book. But yeah, I started being very aware of my spine and of my posture, and the past few days have made a real attempt to correct anything like that, and it's already like done huge improvements for me. So thrilling, you know? I'm very happy about that. So I do have I've got this set to motion graphics for a category. That's not quite accurate, is it? There we go, illustration. Let's update that. Hopefully it updates out there in the world. So let me know how everyone is doing. Anyway, why I'm talking about spines. I figured it'd be a fun thing to draw today inside of Fresco. Since I am so focused on spines, and spines are very interesting. You've got vertebrae, right? And little nodules that come off of the vertebrae. You've got the ribs that are sort of attached. And I always think it's really interesting when I see like a human skeleton, just how thin the ribs actually are. Because you don't think of them like that, you know? You think about your chest and, you know, your ribs, and it's like, you know, it feels substantial, you know, but you look at a skeleton and the thing's just like real thin little ribs. Anyway, let's get going. So, I don't know what I'm gonna do for my brush for this stuff. Let's see, what's gonna work well for charcoal. I always used to use charcoal. I had, you know, those little charcoal blocks, those little charcoal pencils. It was so messy, you know. If you've ever used charcoal, you know what I'm talking about, right? Let's see. And I always like to try out my brushes. You know, when I pick something, just give it a shot. Oh, that's kind of nice. Let's go charcoal, because, you know, I like charcoal. I've always enjoyed working in charcoal. And one thing you can do with charcoal too is you can smudge it. So I was always a big fan of smudging charcoal once it was laid down, and then leaving other pieces, of course, intact, and so forth. Who keeps messaging me? Stop. Yes. So we've got a very active, small group of Adobe education leaders who are working on a really cool project that is going to be released on the 26th of July. And I'm getting some messages about that as we go through. So vertebrae are interesting. You got some vertebrae that are sort of like this. They're just very plain. Then you've got other vertebrae that are more, you know, they start getting these little nodules that come out. And, you know, I don't know why that is. I've never studied vertebrae or spines or anything like that. But, you know, that's kind of how they work. And then in between, of course, you have your little discs, right? The stuff in between that makes the bones not scrape together horribly, which, you know, would make life rather painful, wouldn't it? Yeah, it would. So again, how is everyone? The chat is very quiet today. Man, I feel so nice about how things are going right now. Feeling very positive today. Just creatively positive, you know? A lot of projects. It's such a great thing, right? When you get to the end of a project and you've got like this thing that you created and it exists, you know, once you release it into the world, right? As an artist, it's out there. And it's not really, I mean, it's yours, but you know, in terms of how people perceive it and how people deal with it and everybody's reaction to it, that's theirs, you know? So it's like it's almost like you toss a stone into a little pond, right? Like still water. That stone is your work, your creation, right? Toss it, it hits the water, it breaks the water, and it causes ripples, right? And the ripples, they go out into the world. And you know, when that happens, like you can't go in and get the stone. You can't change where you threw the damn thing or anything. It's out there. It's at the bottom of the pond. It's part of the pond, and it's created all of these sort of accidents that come with it, right? And that's how releasing, you know, a book or an album or something like that. That's how it is. And it's great to like let go of it, but it's also like weird because, you know, you've been living with it for months, for years, no matter what it is. You've been living with it. Now you send it out. Okay, we got somebody in the chat. Hello, Adriana, is that how you say your name? I'm sorry if I am bad at pronunciations. I hope I got that right. And I'm very sensitive to that too, because my name is very hard to pronounce. My last name, not my first name. My name, Lebrec. Right? A lot of people butcher that, as you might imagine. But yeah, it's pronounced Lebrec. It is French. All right. So I'm just getting the rough, smudgy little outlines here of the spine. And again, I'm using, for those, I see a lot of people have just joined. I'm using a charcoal brush for this. Mentioned earlier, I used to use charcoal a lot. When, you know, when you had to do things like this with paper, with actual charcoal sticks and everything. And I always used to smudge. Oh, welcome, oh gosh, I'm gonna butcher your name, I'm sorry. Siddhant? Siddhant? Welcome to the stream. So what's everybody working on? I'm obviously working on spines and vertebrae. Oh, thanks. Thank you. Yeah. Well, it's something. I don't know how good it is, but you know. I mean, I started using charcoal when I was in undergrad. So I took a lot of studio art classes. And one thing that we used quite a bit was charcoal. We used watercolor. We used acrylics. Not oils so much, interestingly enough. But yeah, I got a affinity for charcoals and sketching with charcoal. And yeah, so we got this smudge tool here inside of Fresco, right? So look at that, that's terrible. No. Stick smoothing down, stick size down. Yeah, so smudging. Wow, this is like a heavy smudge. So when I use charcoals, you know, I usually just smudge a little bit, just to like blend stuff in, just to give it a little something here. The smudge tool inside of our friend Fresco here just seems to be a little what's the word? Aggressive. Yeah. So let's go back to our brush here. So this is, I'm using the Vine Charcoal 4 brush under charcoal brushes, and that's a pixel based brush. So if you don't know Fresco, Fresco Has a number of different types of brushes, and it's funny because when I first started using Fresco, I started using it in particular because of the live brushes. Because, you know, those are the wow brushes. You got the watercolor brushes, you've got the I was gonna say acrylic, but no, you got the oil brushes, right? And you know, they're really cool. They're cool to demonstrate, they're cool to play with, but you know, the pixel brushes actually are really nice as well. And so I've been using the pixel brushes quite a bit lately. There's definitely more variety with the pixel brushes. And Adobe does release brush packs that you can install seasonally. So there's like winter brush packs. There are spring themed brush packs and so forth. So yeah, you're never kind of like short when it comes to some of these brushes, right? I do need to finish my my vertebrae here. Which I haven't done. I'm too busy focused on shading some of these. And that's the thing that's like killer when it comes to stuff like this. I used to be kind of weird about, but it's like not a big deal now for me. I used to, you know, like lots of times you're creating something, right? You don't want people to hear or see the beginning of it, right? It's unfinished. You don't want to share it with people until it's like completely done. Which is something, you know, it's hard, you know, it's hard because you don't want to like put stuff out there that's not complete. And, you know, getting over that's kind of weird, but I mean, at this point, I'm fairly over it. There's still like this like little thing in the back of your head, right? Like something like this. It's like, I mean, this looks like garbage right now to me. Because it's so unfinished. But, you know, for something like this, with a stream where you're actually creating stuff step by step, there's really no way around it. So you just have to kind of accept it, kind of deal with it, and move on. Yeah. Well, I'm glad that's useful, Sidant. And I do hope I'm saying your name correctly. If I'm not, please. I know... Unfortunately, there's no, like, voice chat ability on Behance, you know? You know, something nice that we have, so, you know, like I mentioned at the beginning, I'm an Adobe education leader. Adobe for Education sponsors these streams. They feature myself and other AELs to do these streams for Adobe for Education. And, you know, what am I trying to say? I can't. I just lost my thought completely here. Sometimes it's hard to work and speak at the same time, right? But yeah, charcoal. Love charcoal. Let's add some additional vertebrae here. And one last one down here. And then we're going to have all these vertebrae. So yeah, some of these you can see the difference, right? So some of these guys I've got, you know, already a little bit shaded. Other ones are just more kind of outlines, right? So I guess the next step would be to complete shading them. Yeah, but if you're interested, everyone, actually, let me get the URL here for joining later today if you're interested. Because I would love to have more people show up for the creativity workshops. I'm going to bring up 2 different links here, and I know you cannot see them. I'm going to pop them into the... Actually, I could just pop them. Let's see here. I'll bring them up. And inside of the magical OBS console here, there we go. So yeah, have a look at this here. This is, and I'm gonna pop this link into the chat for those who want to check it out. This is the schedule for all the Adobe Education Leader live streams. So there's our full schedule. There's, you know, about 6 of us, 8 of us, whatever it is. So yeah, if you're interested in Adobe for Education streams, you can check that out here. We stream at all different times. And this other one I've got here is for the event later on today. So I'll paste that in there too. And Adobe for Education holds these creativity workshops once a week on Wednesdays, and my time is up. My time has come. So you can see here, there's mine. So June 29th, 10 a.m. to 10:30, though it's probably going to go a little longer than that, but we are going to deal with integrating audio within Adobe Animate projects. So yeah, if you're free, join me later on today at 10 Pacific. And you can get the join link right there. And yes, very good. So back to Fresco. So, oh, Adriana, I hope you saw that. That link, it's in the chat there for joining later. So it says 31 people are watching now. Cool. Great. Well, if there are that many people there, hello, everyone. Please jump into the chat and let me know how you're doing, what you're working on, and so forth. What I'm drawing, so I'm drawing a spine. So a human spine. Actually, you know what? I need another bit of vertebrae up top here. So I was just filling in the last bits of vertebra. There we go. And that'll do. Yeah, so we got some rough ones up here, and then we got some more shaded ones down below. So I'm going through and I'm just shading these out. So as you can see with the name of the stream today, it's just chilling with Fresco, and that's kind of what we're doing. Just chilling. So, ooh, look at that. Yeah, that's not good. Somehow chose my eraser tool on the side here instead of my pixel brush. So, change that. I don't want to erase the vertebrae here. No, I don't. And yeah. So that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm just having fun with Fresco. Chilling with Fresco, just like it says. So no agenda beyond that. Not kind of like going over anything crazy. Sometimes on my streams, you know, they're more instructive. So it's like, you know, I'll be going over something like the thing that I'm talking about, the creativity workshop later on. That's going to be more instructive. You know, we're going to create stuff, but it's more like, hey, here's how to do this inside of Animate. Make some cool stuff. And it's going to be for beginners too. So if you're not used to Animate, no worries. We're not doing anything crazy. But one of the cool things about Animate is its multimedia capabilities. And that, of course, includes the capability of integrating, you know, as it says, multimedia. So you've got imagery, you've got motion, video, and audio. So you've got sound as well. Multimedia. I remember back in, like the first computer I ever bought was a, I don't know what you would call it. It was a Windows machine, right? Although I did have an Apple that was like a family machine before that. It's an Apple IIe. And for decades, that was the only Apple that I ever really kind of like, you know, sort of owned. But what am I saying? Adobe Education Exchange 404 error. What is that from? Which link gives you a 404 error? Let me know and I'll check it out. Yeah, so I don't have any editing capabilities on either of those links, by the way. Adobe for Education takes care of those. But I can tell them, I can be like, hey, this is busted, guys. Let's fix this. And depending upon who I tell, it will get fixed or it won't, right? Luckily, I know people who are more responsive that will fix things when they're broken. Things break often. But that's life, you know? On the Adobe Education Exchange page, all that stuff's not working? Is that what you're saying? Like on my profile? Let's see here. I don't know. I'll check it out. I'll check it out afterwards. But yeah, it's been a while since I edited this profile. So if they made a lot of changes on the Education Exchange, it might be that they goof some stuff up, right? But yeah, things goof up. That's just the nature of everything. And technology. So I used to, before I was in my current position now, I was actually a software engineer. I built a bunch of software, both server-based and web-based software. For years, for decades. That's what I did. And you know, I always used to tell people like the web. It's amazing that anything actually works. You know? Oops. Undo. 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 It's amazing that anything actually works on the web. It's just like, it's all held together with like Scotch tape. And it's just, you know, I mean, the web as you know, a resource, like its original vision, like made a lot of sense, right? But it's strayed so far from that, like so damn far, that I mean, now people are using it for all sorts of things that it wasn't intended for. And the problem is, right, the problem isn't that people want to use it and people want to push it. The problem is that people want to use it in different ways and push it in different ways that it just was never meant to do, right? So what you end up with is a bunch of technology that, you know, it works when it works. And it's shocking that it works at all. But yeah, that's where you get like all, I mean, it's just such a mess. And that's one of the reasons I got away from that stuff, because it was just increasingly frustrating, right? To work in a medium that most of the time just doesn't work. I used to teach web development, web tech, and mobile development, which the line blurs more and more, right? But yeah, that got to be very frustrating too. Now I only teach design software, which is much more fulfilling, and it's more what I want to do, you know? It's what I'm more interested in creatively and personally. And you know, it's more interesting than trying to work with and like manipulate dead technology, right? I mean, HTML, CSS, like that stuff is so old. It's so old, and it doesn't really, yeah, they update the spec every year, whatever. It has not seen an update in decades. Sorry. It's the same old cruffy cruff. Like, I want to be involved in stuff that actually changes, that's actually modern, and that, you know, you can have an impact on too. It's like, I remember one of the one of the big things around HTML, like especially around the time of Flash, when things became very controversial. With HTML, like you'd complain about stuff, and then people would be like, "Well, just add it to the spec. Anybody can edit the HTML spec," which is a complete and utter lie. Complete, utter lie. Like, you can propose stuff, but the only people who can actually like manipulate the spec are people who work for companies like Google, like Microsoft, like Apple, who have that sort of access, that are appointed to that board, and so forth. I didn't mean for this to become a HTML rant, but looks like that's what we're going with here. Now that vertebrae right there, they're getting increasingly like ouchy looking, you know? And it is taking more time to... Who keeps ding-dinging me? Oh, my lawn care people are My lawn care people are triggering my cameras, my security cameras. Yeah, you know, and the thing is, it isn't looking more real. The thing is, like, you know, start off rough, you know, like everything starts off rough. You start off rough and you don't pay a lot of attention at the beginning to how things look. But the thing is, those rough lines are going to provide the platform for you to add additional elements to, right? And it's like that with anything. Like I mentioned earlier about writing this book the past few months. Yeah, it's been I say a few months, it's been a while. Writing a book, right? So writing a book, you know, one of the best things I've found after, and I don't even know like which book this is out of like my book count. I've written many books at this point. I've written a lot of books, and I can tell you, if you've never written one before, one of the best things you can do when you start out is just like start with structure, you know, like structure in terms of you start with your general like TOC, your table of contents for the entire book. And then as you get into each chapter, you know, just outlining, just scaffolding that out, you know, makes such a big difference, because then you can look at it and you can be like, yeah, this is working or this isn't working. I need to pivot. I need to change. And you can say like, hey, you know, what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue on like this, or I'm going to make adjustments depending upon what is working and what isn't working. And then once you have that down, it's just a matter of filling in the blanks, really. So that's like the fun part of writing for me, is like, you've got the structure down, you've got it. You can see the picture, it's all framed out. The thing that's cool is being able to go in and then populate that. So that's when you're just like, right? You're just taking it from here to there. And it's I mean, every creative process is like that. Like, you scaffold stuff out and it makes it so much easier and it's more enjoyable, because then you can actually go through and, you know, populate this stuff with whatever it is. It's the same thing with audio, right? I'm very excited about this audio project I'm doing with a bunch of AELs over the summer here. We're releasing on July 26th an album of audio works. I don't want to say music, because it's not entirely music. Some of it is, for sure. But a lot of it is more incidental, circumambient oral creations, let's say. And sort of based around lockdowns and, you know, experiences over the past few years when it comes to COVID and all of that. Which, let's put that behind us, right? So part of this project is just that. It's like, let's address this thing so that we can get rid of it, right? You know? Oh, thank you, Sidons. I do appreciate it. Thanks for the chat. And yeah, have a nice rest of your day and week. Because I don't want you to get beaten, for sure. Which I know you're likely kidding about that, but yeah. No, you've got to help out, of course, where you can, right? Just like this sort of thing. Like, do what you can. Yes, have a wonderful rest of your day. And this will be up once I finish it, I'll put it on, I'll submit this to Behance on my profile. So you can see the finished piece. And of course, this stream will be archived as a replay, as they all are, which is a great feature of Behance. It's funny, one of the things that I was just writing a few days ago was part of the instructor guide for my book. And, you know, I had to write a little bit about Behance, among other things, but I had to write a little bit about Behance, and, you know, one of the things that I definitely mentioned was, you know, the ability to access live streams of people creating stuff like all the time. Like, even if you don't catch them live, there's always the replays, right? It's great. You know, that's looking pretty good. Woo! I like it. So let's add some ribs. I mentioned earlier about ribbies. Actually, let's add another layer here to just fill in the cartilage. Joseph, that's gross. No, it's fine. So we're gonna use this layer beneath. I'm just gonna real quickly just kind of like buzz in some cartilage. And I'm using a different layer so that I don't interact entirely with the present layer, right? And this is like super rough. This is just for visually filling in what we have here. I mean, another thing I could do too, like these bones right here that we have are, these aren't white, right? I'll show you what I mean in a moment. As soon as I finish filling these in. There we go. Yeah, so if you look at it now, it's more one structure than it is just a bunch of disassociated vertebrae. Looks pretty good. Digging my bones. Yeah. So, what was I saying? Ribs, vertebrae, cartilage. I don't know. Oh, layers. Yeah. So now I've got that. Oh yeah, the white. Right. So, you know, the thing looks white right now, but you know, if we turn off that background layer, you can see it's not white. It's just showing the background through. So that's another thing we could do here. Let's add another layer. And let's fill this in. So I'm gonna use a bigger, chunkier brush, and let's do something a little off-white. So yeah, charcoal doesn't have to be black, right? And here we can do this pretty easy. Just fill it in, kind of rough. We're using that same brush, right? There's no difference in our brushing right here. I am just using this brush to fill in with this sort of off-white color, so that we actually have something to each vertebrae instead of just having it be transparent. And the cool thing about Fresco is that it does share the same file format as Photoshop. And what that means is that you're able to open this up in Photoshop later on and do further manipulation to it. Oh, a flight. Well, have a nice flight, Adriana. Thank you very much for joining. Yes. It's funny, I had my first flight in 3 years a couple weeks ago. I went to Utah in the United States for a conference where I was speaking on behalf of EdgeGain and Adobe. And it was interesting. You know, not having flown for so long. I mean, you don't forget stuff, but you do sort of forget how miserable a lot of airports are. Though I have to say, the Salt Lake City airport is immaculate. It is clean, it is open, it is airy. It's very nice. Denver International Airport, which is my airport of origination, is kind of a mess right now. Honestly, it's not great. So hopefully they fix that up soon. Very soon. Before I have to fly again, okay? Thank you, Denver. Yeah, so I'm just adding a bit more shading here in terms of color to these darker areas. Just to give each bone a little more of character. See, I mean, that makes such a big difference, huh? Look at that. Amazing. Yeah, no, I do like charcoals. I used to use charcoals a lot, and usually when I did use charcoal, I just did black and white. But you know what? We are using digital tools here, and we've got the flexibility to make other decisions, to branch out, and use things that we couldn't when perhaps we were doing this in a more tangible, physical way, right? Hey, welcome. Ali, is that how you pronounce your name? Ali is here from Pakistan. Welcome. How are things in Pakistan? How's the weather? The weather in the Boulder area, Denver, Boulder, where I am, is fairly warm right now. It's like 90-something degrees Fahrenheit most days. So nothing crazy. We're not like up into the 100s or anything. But it's warm. It's summer. You know, nothing to be done about that. Oh, let's turn this back on. Why? I don't know why I still have that off. There we go. Lovely. So yeah, I mean, I can use this asset for lots of different things, you know? I can use it as part of a greater Photoshop project if I wanted to. I think what I want to do, though, change this back to black charcoal. I do want to draw in some ribbies here. And I don't know the best way to do that. Let's see. Like that, of course. Oops. Look at that. Wow, it changed the whole thing, didn't it? That's okay. But here, I'm going to move this like that so that I can get better access to everything. See, ribs are weird. I don't know if I should do this. Ribs are weird because they, right? There's like a big like loop that goes around with a rib. So it's a more difficult thing to draw than something like vertebrae that's just all sort of on the same plane. The thing is, with a rib, you've got rib portions that are behind, and then they loop up and they come around above the thing. So it's a perspective challenge, and it's difficult, right? So like, I don't know. You know, I don't think it's gonna work out. I'm having some real second thoughts about maybe not doing the ribs. I don't know. Oops, that's ridiculous. So again, just like rough at first, right? And then you can say like, so here's the deal, right? If this doesn't work out, then I can just, you know, it's all in its own layer. So I can just like kill it. No big deal. See you later. Yeah. So now that I've got it roughed, I can go in and do something like this, right? Another benefit to digital is the ability to undo, right? To undo on Fresco, super, super easy. You've got like undo up here, right up top. But you also, if you just kind of double tap, does an undo, which is awesome. Hey, this is just Fresco. I'm just drawing. We're chilling with Fresco. So welcome to the stream. Just drawing some human vertebrae, human spine, human ribs, fun stuff like that. Actually, I think this is gonna work out. Yeah, it's coming out pretty good. I mean, the thing I'm worried about now is like, are those ribs like the right size, the right proportion? Probably not. The thing is here, it's like we could do a transform on these. So like, if I say like, hey, get out of here. If I want to draw transform rectangle around here and then do a transform, then I get this guy and I can make it bigger. But of course you make it bigger and then it's not like hooking up, right? So cancel out of there. Deselect, please. There we are. So yeah, I'm just gonna go with it as it is. We'll just see kind of how this goes. So yeah, again, like the thing with ribs that's like rough is that they are so three-dimensional, whereas everything else is kind of like, okay, it's set, right? You add the ribs and it becomes this, it's a lot like basket weaving, right? You know, I used to be a Boy Scout and I did get my basket weaving merit badge. Absolutely I did. And I actually found basket weaving to be really interesting and fun. I know people make fun of it a lot. Please don't make fun of basket weaving. It's not to be joked about. It's a cool thing. It's okay. It's an okay thing. The thing that's cool about basket weaving is that you soak the reeds that you eventually weave into a basket, right? You soak them in water And then once they're ready, then you can go ahead and actually weave a basket out of them. All right. Let's go ahead and finish this up. What I'm going to do is add in another layer here to, I mean, you know, there's a couple things to do, but we'll take it step by step. Hello, gosh, I hope I pronounced your name correctly. Hello, Ranjit. Is that how you say your name? I hope. So again, we're just filling this in like this. Yeah, for those who are just coming here, I mentioned before I am giving a talk and some demonstration later on today for Adobe for Education, Adobe for EDU. And I'm also doing this on behalf of Adobe for Education. So if you want to join, there is a link in the chat. I assume it's still there for people who are new and just coming in. If it's not, let me know and I can put it back in there. But it'd be great if I could have some of you join in for that. It's not going to be on Behance. It's going to be on YouTube and Facebook and I don't know, maybe like Twitter and junk like that too. I'm not even sure where they broadcast, where they distribute these live streams too, but it's going to be a live stream on working with Adobe Animate, specifically working with audio inside of Adobe Animate. So it'll be interesting. And again, it's kind of for beginners. You can see here, what do we have there? We've got some overlapping. So now I do want to use this little eraser tool. Oh, shh, not that one. Hey, guy. Undo this layer right here. Oh, doesn't that look awful? Yikes. So what do we have here for our brush right now? We've just got like the basic eraser. Eek. Let's take our flow down. Ugh, it's terrible. Right? Oh, hello, Reverb Mike. How are you doing today? Hope you're doing well. Let's see here. So if you hold down this little thing, like you can see in the lower left corner there, when I press it down, it kind of turns that color, right? This turns your pixel brush into basically an eraser based off that pixel brush. So the eraser tool that I used before was just too hard. This works a lot better. Looks okay. Here, I actually need to go into, well, I don't know what I just did there. Undo. Oh, I goofed this up. Okay. Let's go back in. Make sure to erase that. Cool. Yeah, look at this. Eraser tool, everyone. Very, very useful. Look at that. Now those ribs are actually where they belong, which is great. Those don't need it so much. So here, over here, we got some. That. Wait a minute. Okay. There. Nope. Come here. I always talk to my tools. I always talk to my tools. You have to have a good relationship with your tools, right? And one of the best ways to have a good relationship is to talk. And interesting here, so, you know, we were talking about shading before. And, you know, I was using shading with the black charcoal. But, yeah, you can shade with the eraser, too. You just remove stuff. And this is just about done here. I just need to do some additional, again, shading for some of these little ribbies here, right? They're a little hard-edged right now. But that's, you know, that's the nature of it. That's how they were drawn, whatever. Who cares? And as we said earlier, like, you know, I tried to emphasize when I drew these out just how spindly and thin ribs are. That's why they're so easy to break, you know? Like, people break ribs all the time. And it's like, yeah, it's because they're like these thin, brittle sticks inside of you. They're easy to break. They need to be thin, of course, because as you breathe, right, your chest has to expand and everything. So they need to be a bit flexible. However, that, of course, makes it that they need to be very thin and so very fragile. Now, I wonder if we should put some sort of a background in here so it isn't just this guy on white. Actually give him somewhere to live, right? Barbecue ribs. Well, you could, I guess. See, they're too small. The perspective, the proportion, isn't exactly right here, but that's okay. We get it. And you know what? Putting in something to the background is going to help this. So let's actually go in here and I don't know. Let's just we could stick with the brushing we've got right now. Let's give it some background. Actually, let's fill in the background here. We do have a paint bucket tool, don't we? Yeah, there it is. Hello, paint bucket tool. Cannot fill this type of layer. Okay, we'll fill this type of layer then. How's that sound? That looks awful. That looks absolutely terrible. Better, but yeah, let's forget that ever happened right there. We'll keep it at that, right? That's good. Let's give it a name. So I haven't named this at all. Human spine. Now let's call it Fun with Human Spines. Fun with Human Spines. Save. Perfect. All right. Because we did have fun today. And spines were involved. So, fun with human spines. Excellent. Save now. Sure, let's save. And then we'll share it to Behance. That's one of the great things, too, about Fresco that I really like, is it makes it very easy to just click key and say, hey, I want to go ahead and publish and export. And I want to export this as a Behance project. Then it's going to just shoot it right up to Behance for me onto my profile. And I won't have to do anything else. Yeah, I agree. The pure bones are better. It's really going up there. All right. We are taking a while. Well, this is an 8K image. So I created a 8K canvas. So it is pretty big. There it goes. So yeah, fun with human spines. Creative fields drawing. Tags are drawing in Adobe Fresco. Let's go ahead and publish this friend of ours. Publishing to Behance. Oh, there it goes. Yay. Thank you. Thank you, Fresco. Yeah. So pretty good for like, what do we do this for? Like 50 minutes, an hour, something like that. Not bad. All right. Put my pencil back on there. Fun with human spines. Yeah, no, that's fun. I was gonna do actually another particle system today in After Effects, but I just felt like, let's just draw some stuff, you know? So that's what we're doing. What we did. What we have done. Chilling with Fresco. All right, so let's wrap this up. I do, again, have... Going back in the chat here. I will mention, let's switch this out again. iPad Pro. There it goes. Whoop. Hey. So yeah, I do have an Adobe Creative Workshop coming up today in less than an hour. So, because of that, I need to go. So we need to wrap this up. But if you want to join me for that workshop, here is the link again. And yeah, it's going to be at 10 a.m. Pacific time, integrating audio within Adobe Animate projects. So that'll be fun. There's a link down here to join, to watch. And all that stuff. So yeah, if you could make it, that'd be great. If not, that's cool too. And yeah, aside from that, I am gonna say goodbye, everyone. We had fun drawing some nice creepy bones. And yeah, let me see here. Before I go. Okay. So here is my Behance profile. If you go to work, you can, oh look, there's our little bones right there. So you can always find the schedule, at least what I'm thinking about doing for the schedule. You can always find it right here, live stream schedule. And when you go in, if you look down here, you can see today we're chilling with Fresco. Gonna revisit particle systems in After Effects the next couple times. And then I actually got a request from someone off of my YouTube channel to do some very specific stuff in Adobe Animate. So that's probably gonna take 2 sessions, and we'll do that towards the end of July. So yeah, anyway. All right, thanks everyone. See you all next week, or maybe later on today. Ooh, whatever happens, right? All right, thank you. Goodbye, everyone.
Oh.